Big Rab Show Podcast is kindly sponsored by G1 Reeds. They are the champion's choice, with many bands around the world playing G1 products, providing everything you'd need to hit the circle or the big stage. So, check out G1Reeds.com as they keep the lights on here at the Big Rab Show Podcast. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to another Big Rab Show podcast. Episode 434. Cheapers, oh. Yeah, we're back again for another pod. Another week rolled round, and yeah, you guessed it, we've got a lot of ground to cover on this week's show. And we've also, we've got quite an interesting topic of the week for you this week that, I'm sure will shake up the bagpiping world. Yeah, so we'll get into all of that, of course. Well, first of all, before we do, let's go through our introductions then, shall we? If this is your first ever Big Rab Show podcast, then welcome. How yous doing? This is the Big Rab Show. We are the show for the bagpiping folk. We reflect everything in the bagpiping world, be it Celtic music, folk music, or indeed our bread and butter, which is competitive piping and drumming. Each and every week we're here for over 433 episodes now. Yeah, talking about what we know and love to be the music of the great Highland bagpipe and its people. And yeah, like every other podcast under the sun, we do have a Patreon. So if you would like to help support our show and help us continue doing what we're doing, then do head over there. There's tons of extras for your trouble. So if you do happen to click on support, then go and check it out. I have to say, shout out to our Patreon faithful right now who are being treated to a wealth of stuff, including this past week, there's been a brand new episode of Big Rab Show Plus has been uploaded there. That's all I'm going to say. But if you're a supporter on Patreon, you'll probably have already heard it. It was fantastic. So go and check that out. Episode of Rab Show Plus available now on Patreon. There you go. So be part of the Patreon faithful. There's a link in your show notes right now. Go and click on it. Go on. Help support your favourite wee piping pod. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the show good and proper. I'm excited for this one, actually. The topic of the week specifically. That's such an interesting thing. Right, let's get into all of the news and updates and all of that stuff. But let's get into listener mail. First of all, wow, right, calm down, Rab. Slow down. Listener mail. Every week we open the door to listener mail, and this week is no different. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address has never changed from the start of the show, really. bigrabshow@gmail.com. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. And we have got a few emails in over, last week's episode when we talked about the World Youth Championships. Let's say this. There's a lot of very strong opinion out there about this venture. Now, a lot of what was emailed to us, unfortunately, is not broadcastable. For reasons I'm sure you guys out there who've been on the internet for long enough, I'm sure you'll probably be well aware of why we can't broadcast such things. It's full of expletives and all sorts of finger pointing and all sorts of madness, to be honest. But hey, that seems to be the internet now. Keyboard warriors are plenty. A lot of the emails that we did receive were all from anonymous email addresses that were just a series of numbers and dashes and squiggles and all that kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, we don't have any of those that we can bring to you on the pod, but I just wanted to put that across, that there is a wealth of feeling out there about the World Youth Championships. And, I dare say that we're not going to see the end of this topic until we actually see the proof in the pudding, I guess. We also have a weekly drone on this very topic, which we'll tackle in a minute or two. I just wanted to put that out there at the very beginning as part of our listener mail this week. We did receive a wealth of correspondence on this, but a lot of it we can't broadcast. So to all of those who took time to send in all of that vitriol, thank you. Your message has been received. However, we can't broadcast it here in the show. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so let's get into this first piece of listener mail that we received in from Jim Sim. Yes, a name that may well be familiar with a good lot of you. Of course, he's the president of the Midwest Pipe Band Association. Yeah, hi Jim, how you going? I says, hi Rab, hope you're well. Here's something for your news and notes segment. Well, sorry Jim, I'm bringing it to listener mail at this point. He says, the Midwest Pipe Band Association ran the Pipe Major in Swinton Open Piping Competition on Saturday the May 3rd at Park Ridge Presbyterian Church in Park Ridge, Illinois, which is near Chicago. Yes, Jim, I was aware of this, and I've been following some of the action from that. There've been a dose of photographs and little video clips and stuff as well from this. We'll talk about that in a second or two. But yeah, quite a huge competition. It goes on to say that there was 11 open players competed for the Pembroke, which started at 11 a.m. And then they came back later that day to play their MSR, and the day ended at around 6:30 p.m., which was a full day of great tunes, I have to say. Yeah. So there was $3,500 in prize money at stake on the day, and Nick Hudson from Houston, Texas, managed to win the Pembroke event, and Andrew Carlisle from Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania won the MSR event, and he was the overall winner on the day. Yeah. So, yeah, Jim has sent us in the details, of course, of where you can go and find the results and the photographs, and also some videos from this as well will be up there on their YouTube channel. Just go and have a search for MWPBA. Go and have a look for him. And yes, that's where you'll find all the results as well on their website, mwpba.org. So thank you, Jim, for sending that through. And yeah, $3,500 worth of prize money. Yikes. That's what we're seeing now for a lot of competitions, especially in the United States, is that the prize money on offer at some of these huge events is just fantastic. Yeah, so definitely a huge draw for solo competitors, but for bands as well. Yeah, so encouraging to see that. So, hi, yes, well done to everybody there at the Midwest Pipe Band Association, and thank you, Jim, for getting in contact with us here and telling us all about it. So, as I say, if you do want to go and check out those performances and all that stuff, you can go and check them out on the MWPBA YouTube channel. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much it for listener mail this week. And I have to remind you, if you do want to send us in listener mail, you can do, absolutely. The email address, bigrabshow@gmail.com, has never changed. So, but do try and keep it broadcastable, if possible. We are a family show. Yes, you can absolutely share opinions, but there are those that are so strong that, we're unable to share them with our listeners. But, yeah, there you go. Let us have it, bigrabshow@gmail.com. All right, well, now that listener mail is out of the road, it is time to get into that weekly drawing that we were talking about. Yes, and we do know that this is on that topic of the World Youth Championship, so, all right, JD, let's hear it.
It's the weekly drawing.
World Youth Championships. I have some potentially devastating news for the weekly droner last week who was concerned that moving the youth bands to Friday will mean very few people will see them, as they will be in direct competition with the Grade 1 bands. The Grade 1 bands also play on Saturday, except on the Saturday, they'll also be competing with the Grade 2 and 4 other grades, and the drum majors for spectators. I would imagine having the youth bands on the Saturday will mean they're competing in arenas 2 and 3, right in the middle of where all the spectators will be. They won't be banished off to arenas 6, 7, or 8, far away from everything and everyone else. How about we wait and see how it goes this year, rather than immediately jumping to the negativity?
Yes, Weekly Droner, I do take your point there. Yeah, last week's Weekly Drone did very much dwell on the negative aspects of this World Youth Championship. I still believe that's an incorrect title. It should be the World Youth Pipe Band Championship, but anyway, that's just me. But yeah, absolutely. The proof is in the pudding, as we said earlier. You know, this could absolutely be a brilliant idea and can work incredibly well. We just don't know. We haven't really got much in the way of detail. We mentioned this last week. A lot of what we're talking about is, hearsay, conjecture, and just rumour for now. And, I am absolutely fascinated to see how this will function as part of this year's World Championships. And will it be a complete separate entity as suggested last week on that weekly drone? Don't know, that's arguable, but it definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons. A lot of people some very strong opinions based on what our weekly droner had to say last week. Some people agreeing and saying, hey, brilliant, I agree with everything there. And then there were some people that had the complete opposite and were, let's say that they were passionate. I think that's what I want to say on this topic. There's a lot of very passionate people with regards to the World Youth Championship. And I dare say we're not going to finish talking about this until we actually see it happen. So for myself, again, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I actually see it happen, or if I see any further detail as to how all of this will actually shake down. It's very interesting development, and if anything, it's exciting to see RSPBA trying something new. This doesn't normally happen, and I guess this is why people are talking about it. You know, whenever something new has been brought in, clearly there's always that reluctance towards change. You know, some people will be absolutely dead set against it and say, no, absolutely not, do not change anything. And then there's those out there and say, well, why not? Let's push the envelope here and see if it works. So, I am on the fence right now, as I'm sure it will be no surprise to most Rab Show listeners. But I do agree with our weekly droner there that, we shouldn't be immediately jumping towards the negativity. We should be giving this a fair shake. And, as to what shape this will take at the Worlds, we have no clue. So all of the rumour, all of the gossip, and the all sorts of mad claims that have been chucked around, don't pay attention to the rumour, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. We will wait and see what it's actually going to be like on the grass in Glasgow. And then we can talk all about it. So I think this year's World's wrap-up show will be quite an interesting one, where we'll get into all aspects of that. Ourselves and the Rab Show team, of course, will unpack it all and tell you about our experiences at that championship. It'll be an interesting one. All right, well, thank you to our weekly droner. I have to agree, jumping to the negativity straight away is maybe not the best option here. We do have to remain open-minded and see how it goes. So if you do want to send in your own weekly drone, if you do have any strong opinions on anything we've talked about over the past few months and years, of course, or even in relation to this particular topic, then, weekly drone is an option. You can do it completely anonymous. There's no names, no identifying factors. It's an open microphone for the bagpiping world. So if you want to tell us your story, then go along. bigrabshow.com. There's a button right at the top of the page that says weekly drone, and let us know your story and we'll bring it here to the show. Indeed. Okay, well, that's the show kicked off good and proper. We've done listener mail, weekly drone, all that good stuff. I think it's time for us to get into the news and updates. Do you wish piping could be fun again? Bagpipers around the world continue to struggle with their instrument, despite hours of hard work trying to get better. Bagpiping should be fulfilling. Your hard work should pay off, showing improvement and the freedom to express yourself musically. Or why do it? The Dojo University believe every piper should be able to free themselves from musical frustration, proven over more than a decade of successful teaching and accessible anywhere with an internet connection. The Dojo is unlike any other bagpipe learning experience in the world. Let the Dojo channel your enthusiasm into a fun and fulfilling program that will empower you with the knowledge to fall in love with piping all over again. So go to dojouniversity.com/Big Rab and take advantage of our 30-day free trial of Dojo Premium membership. Join the global community of students today and rediscover the fun of bagpiping. dojouniversity.com/Big Rab for a 30-day free trial. Ready to take your playing to the next level? Say hello to the ES Session Chanter, the ultimate practice chanter designed for versatility and durability. Crafted from stainless steel and aluminium, the chanter comes equipped for both an A stem and a B flat stem, giving you the freedom to play along with any instrument, anytime, anywhere. Whether at a band practice or a trad session, the ES Session Chanter keeps pace with your creativity. Included with the chanter is the custom carbon carry case, the perfect addition to this compact and tactile instrument. To get yours, head to essessionchanter.co.uk. Okay, let's get into this week's news and updates, of which there are plenty. And that's a bit of a catchphrase right here in the show now. I don't know, this last few months, it's been constant. There's just a constant flow of bagpiping news. And yeah, we've been doing our best to keep up with every aspect of it. And yeah, sometimes we succeed and sometimes we fail. And whenever we fail, we absolutely want to hear from you. So, if there's something glaringly obvious that we should be covering here on the show and we're not, then please do email us in. bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And we would absolutely love to hear from you, especially if there's something that has hit the cutting room floor that we really should have mentioned. Alright, now before we do get into all the news and updates good and proper, there's a few news stories that I just briefly wanted to mention. Now, we didn't mention this on last week's show. We did receive an email or two about it. Is, of course, this month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. Now, we do cover mental health topics here on the podcast, and we've done a few specialist episodes talking on that very topic. And, yeah, around this time of year, mental health really should be a focus pretty much every month of the year, in my opinion. But in the month of May, it is particularly, highlighted for everyone. So, yeah, during this Mental Health Awareness Month, ourselves in the Big Rab Show would just urge you to, take a wee minute or two to check in with those around you. You just never know what someone is going through. And, as we learned in previous podcasts, is that ask twice. Ask someone at band practice this week, well, how you doing? And they would normally give you the kind of, the brush off and go, I'm grand, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, all good. Ask again. And sometimes you may well be surprised with opening that door. It can really help a person. So, yeah, you just don't know what struggles people are going through. So, our advice here on the Big Rab Show, that if you take anything away from this week's episode is, ask twice. Check in on your mates, as you're complaining about having to thump your way through that MSR for like the 7th time tonight already. Then, just check in. How you doing? How's everybody keeping? Keeping all right? How's the job? How's the dog? All of that. It is honestly worth its weight in gold. So yeah, we just wanted to highlight that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you do want to check out any of our previous episodes talking on such heavy topics as this, then you can go back and check through them. They are in our archive by now. Yeah, we have quite a back catalogue where we have talked about every possible aspect of the bagpiping world, and mental health is definitely one of them. Yeah. So, just wanted to highlight that. Now, I have to move on, and last week we gave a particular shout out to Catherine and Jack McGowan, who were getting married last week, and we wanted to pass on our congratulations. Well, they got married, and didn't they make a splash? Yeah, again, I have to say, full congratulations to Catherine and Jack, who are good friends of ours here on the Big Rab Show team and have helped us out here countless times before. They've even hosted a Rab Show over there on Fuse FM for a week to let me away to band practice. So, just again, to pass on our congratulations. Now, the reason we're mentioning them again is, well, their wedding day was something really quite special. Yeah, now I wasn't aware of this at the time, but their wedding actually made national headlines, and for good reason. Yeah, as you may know, Catherine, of course, is a Highland dance teacher, and Jack is a bagpiper. And yeah, we know Catherine and Jack very well here on the show, as we've spoken to them many times before. And Catherine has been on a local radio show here called The Nolan Show. Stephen Nolan is quite a celebrity here in Northern Ireland and has a huge radio show. Well, for those of you who listen to The Nolan Show each day, well, you were in for a bit of a surprise at the point of me recording this. Yeah, 7th of May. Catherine and Jack are currently on their honeymoon in Dubai, and they were speaking with Stephen Nolan. Now, you might think to yourself, why? And why is this even being spoke about on the Rab Show? Well, Catherine is a teacher of Highland dance, and she found it quite difficult to decide who should be her bridesmaid for her special day. So she decided to have 95 bridesmaids. 95? Yep, 95 bridesmaids. Which was just epic. And I have to say, what a fantastic wedding. Wow. Looking at the pictures and everything, it was a day filled with piping and drumming from the very outset until the wee hours, till the very end. And tons of Highland dancing as well. And it was just a huge affair. So to everyone who was there at the wedding, you're awesome. And of course, again, full congratulations to Catherine and to Jack, who are now getting quite a lot of national media attention as a result of having 95 bridesmaids at their wedding. Wow. Yeah, so we're going to have to get Catherine and Jack on a future Rab Show, I think, to talk about this. But you talk about a lot of fun. Like, looking at the photographs and stuff, it seemed to be all 95 bridesmaids were just having the best time. So, yeah, fantastic. And, yeah, they're both rock stars now. So, yeah, newly hitched, but also I'm going to have to try and get an autograph from them now. Yeah, they're celebrities now at this point. All right, well, let's get into some news stories then, shall we? Okay, again, last night we were talking about this, and yeah, we checked the website again, and what I'm talking about is Shots. Yes, and their upcoming Solace concert, the big pre-Worlds concert, as everyone's talking about. I think the tickets for this are in extremely short supply. If anything, by the time this episode gets published, I dare say we may well see, an announcement coming up in the next few weeks that this will be sold out. Yeah, we checked the website last night as we were broadcasting on Fuse, and I think they're down to single figures. Yikes. So, folks, if you are wanting to go and see Shots at this pre-Worlds concert this year, then you need to go right now and grab tickets. Don't leave it to the last minute and then message me and go, "Hey, Rab, could you sort us out with a ticket for the Shots show? Could you, mate?" I thought to myself I might go to that wee thing. When is it? Tomorrow. No, don't be that person. All right. But go and grab your ticket for it now when you can. And yeah, good luck if you are still seeking that ticket, by the way. I do believe they are in short supply, as I said. So, yeah, anyone wanting to see Shots, that's my advice. Run. Don't walk, run. Grab tickets when you can. All right, I have to talk about the Kids with Cancer charity night. Yeah, Gary Smith got in contact with ourselves here on the Big Rab Show, and he told us that he now finally has a total figure for the amount of money raised at this year's event. And it's massive. He managed to raise a grand total of £14,018. Woo! Not bad, Gary Smith. Well done. And hi, full credit to the full backroom team who make this event possible every year. 14 grand, man. Well, just slightly over. Yeah, what an incredible total. Wow. So, yeah, for a little piping and drumming event can raise so much money for a very worthy charity, being the Children's Cancer Unit there, the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast. 14k. Whew. Not bad, not too shabby. So that brings Gary's overall total now for all of the previous Kids with Cancer charity nights up to £89,055. Yes, so he's just short of the 90k. Wow. Now, we have spoken to Gary about this on previous Big Rab shows, where he says his goal is to reach £100,000 total raised for the charity. So, yeah, whenever you look at it, like right now, he's practically sitting at 90, near enough, you may as well say. Yeah, that's not bad. And, yeah, he has threatened before that once he hits the 100k, that's him done. No more Kids with Cancer charity nights. That's it, finished. Well, I don't know. I remain hopeful. But, Gary, if you're listening to the pod, mate, congratulations. Well done. £14,000 raised at this last event. It was an absolute roaring success. If you haven't listened to the podcast from that night, by the way, do yourself a favour, go back and have a listen to it. There's some real blistering good tunes played and a great night's crack as well. Yeah, so definitely full credit to Gary Smith and the backroom team who make this possible every year. And we are looking forward to hearing details of next year's event. Yeah. There you go. Almost at the 100k, Gary. Well done, man. Okay, I have to give a good mention this week to a good friend of the show, Mr. Eric Evenhouse. Yes, a good lot of you out there will be familiar with that name, of course. Eric is an absolute legend in his own right and a prolific bagpiper and composer of note. Yeah, he famously composed a tune for ourselves here in the Big Rab Show called the Big Rab Show Hornpipe. You might have heard it. Yeah, so the legend, that is Eric Evenhouse, has been working hard behind the scenes this last while, composing away, and he's come up with a brand new tune, and he sent it to ourselves in the Big Rab Show, yeah, to run a bit of a competition. Now, before we get into the details of the competition, I want to let you hear the tune first. Now, this has been composed by Eric Evenhouse, and so far is untitled. Yeah, quite a catchy little 6/8 march, that, isn't it? Fantastic. Now, the reason Eric got in contact with ourselves in the Big Rab Show about this untitled tune is that he would like this 6/8 march to go dedicated to a deserving pipe band. Yes, so this is where we come in the Big Rab Show. We are opening the doors to you folks out there who've just heard that tune. If you would like that to be, to have the name of your pipe band. Yeah, for example, call it, I don't know, the Matt Boyd Memorial March or something. I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing names out there now. But yeah, if you would like this tune to be called after your pipe band, well, now is your opportunity. We're now taking nominations. So if you would like to nominate your bands, then you can email us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. That address again, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Yeah, nominate your band. And, if you receive enough nominations and all of that, then, the band with the most nominations will win. And that's that simple. So if you want this tune to be named after your particular band, then email us in. And, hey, who knows? If we receive enough emails on this, then this untitled tune will not be untitled for much longer. Yeah. So shout out to Eric Evenhouse again. That's quite a catchy tune. I've listened to it quite a number of times now in the process of making this week's pod. But that's such an exciting venture, that, isn't it? To have a tune named after your pipe band. Wow, that's brilliant. So there you go. I will throw open the doors now. Send your emails in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. And in the title, put untitled. There you are. And we will count your nomination. And, we'll announce it in a few weeks. We'll see how we go on this front. We could get loads and we might get one or two. But I reckon we'll get loads on this one. Yeah. Thanks, Eric. This is a lot of fun, actually. But, an untitled tune could be titled with your band's name at the helm. There you are. Email us in. Okay, we've got a few news stories announced throughout the week now from the Force Drum Major Display Team. We've been very busy this last while. Yeah, they put out an announcement saying that they're going to be as part at the Edinburgh Tartan Day, and they'll also be there performing with the Red Hot Chili Pipers, of course, this upcoming weekend. which is all sorts of exciting. So best wishes to the Force. But yeah, they also announced a new member of the team, who was Carrie's Graham. Go on, Carrie's! Yoo-hoo! Which is brilliant. So there you go. So Carrie's will actually be heading across now and, representing the Force in Edinburgh, which is fantastic news. So, hey, full credit to the Force who are bringing drum majoring to the masses, and what a huge event there, Edinburgh Tartan Day. And yes, I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers gig that is the same night as the Edinburgh Tartan Day is pretty much all but sold out, from what I've heard. Yeah, that could be stuff that Rab got wrong. But yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be live, of course, on stage and supported by Celtic music powerhouses Rora. And yeah, the Force will be joining them on stage and doing a spot of drum majoring. That's exciting stuff right there. So yeah, shout out to the Force. And so if you aren't following them on their socials, by the way, you really should be. They've been bringing a lot of great drum majoring action across social media. Their YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. It's tons of great things to enjoy there from the Force. So if you are anyways curious, go and check out the Force on all of their socials and their website, of course, as well, which is theforce.events. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff there. All right, let's get into some actual competitive piping and drumming, shall we? There's tons of pipe band competitions in front of us for us to enjoy, and a lot to build up to, I guess. This weekend, of course, is the Leinster Pipe Band Championships, which is happening in Newbridge House and Farm in Donabate in County Dublin. Yeah, all taking place at 12 p.m. on Saturday, and I can't wait for this, Saturday 10th of May. So the draw for this competition is available right now, and there is quite a mix of really interesting pipe bands lined up to compete at this. One in particular is the German Thistle Pipes and Drums. Yes, who have been entered here in Grade 4B, but according to the draw, they're also going to be playing for Sheets. So, yeah, very, very interested to see the German Thistle Pipes and Drums competing at this. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing them. Also, we will have the first outing of bands such as Moneygore, Black Raven, New Ross, McNeilstown are also taking the journey down to compete in Grade 3A. And then we have St. Joseph's Clondalkin in Grade 2. So, yeah, shaping up to be quite a decent contest, this. So, for full information, of course, including all of our drum majors who are going to be competing as well, the full draw is available now, ipba.ie, and that's this weekend. So, that's shaping up to be a good one there, yeah. Looking towards other competition dates here in Northern Ireland specifically, well, the full calendar has now been updated recently. Yes, this was announced on their socials recently about an update, basically telling us more information about this upcoming competition dates. Yes, we are rapidly looking forward to the County Fermanagh Championships in Enniskillen. Yeah, that's all happening on the 24th of May. Deadline for entries is, well, right now, the point of me recording this on the 7th of May, so we haven't got the draw for it yet, as we are, well, you never know, there might be some late entries, but as soon as we have the details of that draw, we will be sharing that out on our socials. Yeah, County Fermanagh Championships in Enniskillen. Then we'll have the Mid-Ulster Championships in Cookstown on the 7th of June. There you are. The Lisburn and Castlereagh Championships will be happening in Moira, 14th of June. 28th of June will be the Antrim and Newton Abbey Championships in, you guessed it, Antrim. Yeah, and then the big one for this side of the Irish Sea, which will be the JAC 78th All-Ireland Championships, which is taking place in Derry/Londonderry on the 5th of July. Yeah. Then, of course, we have our first major in the calendar, the UK Championships in Edinburgh on the 12th of July. Then, Ards and North Down Championship in Newton Ards on the 19th of July. Yes. On the 26th of July, then, we have the Scottish in Dumbarton, which arguably is one of my favourite competitions of the year, always has been. And, yeah, I do believe McNeilstown are offering places on a possible trip across for anyone wanting to travel and head over to Dumbarton. So there are other pipe bands as well that have other, travel arrangements in place to compete at Dumbarton and have spots available on their bus. So, yeah, keep your eye out for some special travel deals to get across to Dumbarton there. Just saying, yeah. On the 2nd of August, then, we have the 72nd Ulster Championships, which this year are taking place in Portrush. I have to say, yeah, so many people in the Northwest are excited about this. Yeah, we broadcast on Fuse FM in Ballymoney, which is the northwest of Northern Ireland, and they're particularly excited for this. The return to a competition in Portrush is a long time coming, and we're all very excited for this. So yeah, the Ulsters is in Portrush this year. And then on the 9th of August, we have the Euros in Perth. Yeah, but also on the 9th of August, we wrap up our Northern Ireland season here in Newcastle County Down with the Heart of Down Championships, and that'll also be us crowning our champion of champions that day too. Then on the 15th of August, we have the World Championships, and the 16th as well, of course, in sunny Glasgow. There you are. Yeah, and we had a few additional dates where the All-Ireland Solos this year will be taking place on the 20th of September in Lusk. Yes, there you are. Now, we are still waiting on details, however, of the UK Solos, so we'll wait and see on that front. They're taking place on the 6th of September, but we have yet to secure a venue for that. So, all very interesting. I know I've just read you a hashtag list, and for a lot of people listening, that list will be dead boring, okay? But for us here in Northern Ireland, it's very exciting to see so many dates in the calendar ahead of us, and we are looking forward to this unfolding season. Yeah, a lot of bands itching to hit the grass right now. So many are furiously working behind the scenes of band practices, and we seem to get a lot of people on their way to band practice, tuning into us on Fuse each week. I don't know what that is, but every week we seem to get requests in, "Hey Rab, on our way to band practice." And a lot of people like to request Simon Fraser on their way to band practice, I've noticed. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, it seems to be everyone requests a bit of SFU, Simon Fraser University, on the road to band practice. They're a very popular choice. So, hey, there we go. A lot of Simon Fraser fans tuning into us on Fuse each week, I guess, on the way to band practice. Good stuff. So keep them coming. There you go. All right, let's move on. Now, I'm not going to completely step away from competitions and stuff here in the UK. I have to mention about the closing dates for our major championships. Yes, this was just announced by RSPBA headquarters a few days ago. They were reminding everyone that the closing date for our major championships are as follows. If you're wanting to compete in the UK's, your closing date is the 28th of May. There you are, get your paperwork in. If you're wanting to compete in Dumbarton for the Scottish, then your closing date is the 11th of June to get your paperwork ready. And then, if you want to go to the Euros in Perth, that's the 25th of June for your closing date. Yeah, don't let that slip by if you do want to compete. And then, of course, for the big one, if you want to compete at the Worlds, you have to have your paperwork with headquarters by the 2nd of July. All right, so yes, I know this is May. You might think that that's ages away yet, but trust me, yeah, it takes a while to get the paperwork sorted, so don't delay. If you do want to compete at these big events, then please make sure that you get your entries in before the closing date for entries, okay? There's been too many times we've reported stories about pipe bands who have missed deadlines and have been unable to compete at competitions they had planned for. There has been some nightmare situations where bands have actually booked their travel and, hotels, flights, all of the logistics have been put in place, and then only to find that, their band secretary did not put their entry form in on time. Yikes. Now, that's happened way too many times than I care to mention, and I'm not going to go through the list of names of bands here who've done that. You probably know who I'm talking about right now. Yeah, I'm sure some of you out there can tell some stories. But, let's say this. The secretaries, whenever that happens, are not very popular. So don't be that person. Get your paperwork in when it should be in. Be aware of your deadlines and get your paperwork filed and then, jug it out in the circle. All right, you have been forewarned. All of those details, by the way, if you didn't, sit there with a pen and paper, are available now on the rspba.org website. Full details are up there. Yeah, just be aware of it. Okay. This weekend, I have to mention then, it kicks off the Scottish domestic season. We have two competitions to look forward to. We have the first one taking place on Sunday the 11th in Banchory. And the full draw for this is available right now. And this is quite a huge competition, actually. Yeah, looking at Grade 3, there's 8 bands in total. And Grade 2, there's 7. We also have a Grade 1 competition on offer as well. This will be the first outing by a band that I'm very keen to hear. Yeah, Grampian Police will be duking it out in Grade 2, but also playing up in Grade 1. Yes, so I'm very excited to see Grampian Police. Yeah, this will be a very welcome return, and I am, very keen to hear them, indeed. So, good luck to everyone there that's going to be competing in Banchory. As I said, the full draw for that is available now on the RSPBA website. Go and have a look at it. Yeah. Also, this weekend is a competition taking place in Gurrock. Yeah, and there's quite a huge listing of bands available for this as well. Looking at grade 4B, there's 8 in total. Let me see, grade 3, 12 in total. Yikes, wow, that's quite a big grade there for grade 3. So quite a number actually playing up from grade 4A by the looks of it. Yeah, we also have a grade 2 competition on the day with quite a number from grade 3 playing up. So we have 10 bands in there in total. And we have a bit of a grade 1 competition with 3 grade 2 bands playing up. Yeah, we have Colburn, Iowar, Denny and Donnypace, and Oban. There you are. Yeah. So, good stuff. Very exciting to see, our Scottish domestic season open its gates. Yeah, with Bankery and Gurrick just around the corner. Yeah, as I've said, I've only just briefly read through the draw there, didn't go through it in any great detail, but if you are anyways curious, you can go and access that info on rspba.org. So yeah, good luck to everyone competing in Bankery and Gurrick. I think ourselves in the Rab Show team, we may have cameras at the Gurrick competition. We'll have to confirm that yet. All right, we are still working on it, but we are going to do our best to cover both the domestic calendar in Scotland and Northern Ireland, as well as our major championships. We'll do the best we can. But again, I'm just going to throw out the gambit, all right? Yes, if you are so aggrieved with our lack of coverage at competitions, then perhaps you can help. Yeah, we've put the call out before that we are actively seeking new members of the Big Rab Show team to cover bagpiping events around the world, not just here in the UK. So, if you're at a competition yourself and you bring your phone with you and you maybe have 5 or 10 minutes or maybe watching a band in the circle yourself, then why not point a camera at it for us here in the Big Rab Show, and then we can share it with our audience worldwide. So, yeah, if you can help us at all, absolutely get in contact with us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. Otherwise, it'll just be the usual Rab Show team that we have here in the last few years, and we'll do our best to get as much good content to you folk out there. Indeed, there you are. So I'm putting the call out. If you do want to join us, bigrabshow@gmail.com. There you go. Also, yes, as mentioned last week, that brings me on to my next news story, actually. Yeah, we mentioned this last week about a new segment that we're working on here on the Big Rab Show called Meet the Band. Yes, now, we have sent out a huge amount of invitations to pipe bands all around the world where we want to meet your band. We want to hear your story. We want to hear the history, any notable achievements and stuff, any colourful characters in the band over the years, and of course, your hopes and dreams for the future. We want to hear your band's story. We genuinely believe that there's a lot of pipe bands out there who don't get the recognition that they deserve, and perhaps their story goes untold. So, if you're listening to the pod right now and you didn't receive an invitation from ourselves, please don't take that as a given. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to us. We want to talk to everyone. It's been incredibly difficult to find correct contact information for so many bands, and that's what we're finding. We would send out emailed invitations and the bands would never get them because the email address is either not monitored or has expired and no one checks it anymore. We've put out social media messages, done everything we can to reach as many bands as we can. But if we haven't managed to reach your particular band, then please do reach out to us here in the Big Rab Show. It's absolutely an open door. We have already started recording these, and we've recorded a number of these already, where we've interviewed pipe majors and lead tippers, and even some members of the band who just know the story. And some of them have been thoroughly entertaining. So we're really looking forward to bringing these stories to you guys here on the podcast in future episodes. Meet the band. Really looking forward to this. So, the number that we have recorded already and are furiously in the editing works right now have been absolutely brilliant, and we really want to hear your story as well. So, if you would like to be a part of Meet the Band here on the Big Rab Show, as I've said, it's an open door. Yeah, please email us in, bigrabshow@gmail.com. We would absolutely love to hear your story on Meet the Band on a future show. There you are. All right, let's talk about competition results then, shall we? Yes, this past weekend, of course, was the Highlands and Islands Music and Dance Festival. Yeah, that took place this past weekend, Saturday, May 3rd in Oban High School. The overall winner of the event, of course, and the Premier A grade, as it's known, was Angus J. McCall. Well done, Angus. Yeah. The under-18 overall winner was Peter McKay, and the overall under-15 winner was Owen McCready. Yes, so both Peter McKay and Owen McCready won on Pembroke preference. There you are. So for full information on who won what in all of your grades, including that open grade, as I mentioned there, the A grade, you can go to bagpipe.news for the full listings there. But yeah, congratulations to the overall A grade winner, Angus J. McCall. Fantastic. Okay, speaking of competitions and stuff happening this weekend, it'll be remiss of us, really, if we didn't mention the Livingston Invitational Piping Competition, which is taking place this weekend, of course, in Hamilton, Ontario. Now, that's the 46th annual Livingston Invitational, but it's been going a wee while, this one. So this weekend, the 46th annual Livingston Invitational Piping Competition is taking place in Hamilton, Ontario. The competitors, where do you hear this? Whew. Okay, we have Joe Biggs, Tyler Bridge, Andrew Carlisle, Jacob Dicker, Alex Gandy, Nick Hudson, Ian K. McDonald, Ben McClamrock, Sean McKeown, and Derek Midgley. Wow. Okay. Now, there are all sorts of details on this competition, including where you can go and grab tickets and actually attend this. Just go along to the Livingston Invitational Piping Competition on their socials. They have all of that detail up there now. Yeah, so that's all happening this weekend. No doubt we'll be talking more about this competition next week as we talk about who won what and where, but we're very keen to see some of the action from this. Now, speaking of that, there's been a lot of questions about whether this event will be live streamed online, which seems to be quite a common question now when it comes to events like this. Now, the Livingston the organisers themselves actually did respond to these queries and said that, no, there's no plans for any live streaming because, similar to ourselves in the Big Rab Show, we no longer live stream. And it's all down to quality. Yeah, live streaming over social media has all sorts of challenges. And the platforms in which it gets put out, they compress everything. So that's what we're finding and have found over the years. We've tried live streaming on YouTube. We've live streamed on Facebook, obviously. And no matter how much we would upgrade our cameras and microphones, that live stream feed gets compressed down heavily thanks to the Facebook algorithms and all that kind of stuff. And the quality of it is terrible. Yes, it's choppy. It's just real tinny quality sound. It's awful. So, ourselves in the Rab Show, we were there with them, and we are agreeing with them that live streaming on social media is pretty much impossible unless you're going to be hiring in a professional company and all of that. So, ourselves in the Big Rab Show, we completely agree. We can see where you're coming from. So their plans are not just to leave it that we don't have any video from this event at all. Instead, they're going to copy our model here and take our lead, and they're actually going to film the event in full 4K with Dolby surround sound and all of that, and it'll be published later on their YouTube and their Facebook page in much higher quality than a piddly little live stream. So I hope that answers questions even for ourselves in the Rab Show. With competitions that are coming up and stuff, a lot of people have been asking, why don't you live stream anymore? Well, it's just for that purpose, the quality. But we find that the quality aspect of live streams through social media is just absolutely terrible. So I hope that answers questions. It's great to see that other outlets, like the Livingston Invitational, that huge competition, that they are aware of this limitation as well. And as well taking our lead, I guess, as I mentioned, and filming for upload, which is way better quality. We do believe that it does showcase our music in a much better light. And especially when the musicians have worked so hard on their performances, with countless hours of dedication and practice, the last thing they want is a record of their performance being this tinny, choppy, rubbish quality kind of recording. So, I'm in complete agreement there. So I hope that answers questions. Good luck to everyone competing there. As we mentioned, that full lineup at the Livingston Invitational. And we will be following along with interest and looking forward to those videos. Sure, Okay, I have to give a mention this week to the Charleston Pipe Band. Okay, now, you guys know we love the Charleston Pipe Band, of course, because of our own JD, the voice of Weekly Drone, of course. But they posted something on their socials that's really fascinating. Now, we're aware that they were they were working on something behind the scenes and publishing little photos and stuff on socials of them being in a recording studio. It was all very hush-hush at the time, not much being spoiled or released, and no one kind of knew what was going on. Well, the Charleston Pipe Band now have it posted on their social media, including photographs of what exactly they've been up to. Yeah, last year, pipers and drummers from the Charleston Pipe Band have been providing music and background beauty, to quote their release, background beauty for a scene in a series called Righteous Gemstones. Now, I haven't watched this, but apparently it's on the network HBO, and this was part of the season finale. Yes, now the scene itself, has the band in the background. Now, they're not wearing kilts or anything. They're wearing pretty strange costumes, and yes, they're blowing pipes and everything and playing tunes, but they're playing some really weird-looking snare drums. It's just really unusual. Now, I haven't a first idea about Righteous Gemstones. It seems to be John Goodman is in this, because there's photographs of him there with the band in the background and everything. So, I'm a fan of John Goodman. He can be funny. I've seen him in plenty of comedy stuff. So I don't know if this is a comedy or what it is, but either way, to have the Charleston Pipe Band there in the background, that's awesome. And I'm so excited to see this. So, they did give more details on this about, the process of recording the music and then performing it and all of that. So, but rather than me read all of this and go through it all with you here, I've actually opened the door to the Charleston Pipe Band themselves, and hopefully we'll get them on the show here in the future, and they can tell us about this experience of bagpiping for a TV show. This is fascinating stuff. There's not many pipe bands out there that would get such an opportunity. This is so unique, and I'm going to have to go and check out this show now called Righteous Gemstones. Yeah, interesting stuff. So it is in the finale of the show, so you might have a bit of episodes to get to this point. But I'll be very keen to see the Charleston Pipe Band in the background thumping out tunes when John Goodman is doing something. I don't know what it is they're doing, but they look very fancily dressed anyway. There you go. All right, let's move on. Okay, going to give a mention this week to Belfast Tradfest, who recently published it on their socials, just yesterday actually, about an upcoming summer school this July with Bridget Campbell. Oh! Yes, now this is amazing. I'm such a huge fan of Bridget and her work. For those of you who don't know who Bridget Campbell is, she is a virtuoso on the Scottish small pipes. Now, I don't use that word lightly. For those of you who haven't heard Bridget Campbell play, you're really missing a trick. She's got so many incredible albums and EPs and singles and stuff. Go and check out her music. Well, this is now an opportunity to go and learn from Bridget direct playing Scottish small pipes. Now, the tone that she can produce from these is just, I don't know, it's breathtaking stuff. And if you want to learn how to produce that tone yourself, then now's your opportunity. The advice is to go along to Belfast Tradfest on all of their socials, or of course their website as well, and get your ticket information now to be a part of that summer school masterclass. Wow, there you go. So there is a full press release, of course, on Bridget and her music and all of that, and what you can expect to learn at this masterclass. But my advice is to go along and have a listen to some of her music, and then if that doesn't kind of pique your interest and going, wow, I want to play Scottish small pipes now, then I find I'm fascinated by them, to be honest. You can go and check it out yourself, of course. But just wanted to give a huge plug to Belfast Tradfest and this announcement now for this upcoming masterclass. That's all sorts of interesting there. And they have been putting out all sorts of different announcements for upcoming classes of other instruments as well. So, I am curious to see how this develops, of course. So this is all happening. The big summer school is happening in July. And for more details, go along to Belfast Tradfest and, check out all the details there. Great stuff. Okay, I think I'll wrap it up at this point with all of the news and updates and stuff. There's so much happening at the moment with competitions this weekend, next weekend, etc., etc. Closing dates aplenty. There's tons happening at the moment. But, again, if there's anything that has hit the cutting room floor and we have seriously omitted from mentioning on the show this week, then please do message us in. bigrabshow@gmail.com. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. Oh, and don't forget to send us in your voicemails as well. It's been a brave while since we've got one of those. So yeah, if you do have any commentary, any questions, queries, or anything at all, please do email us in. bigrabshow@gmail.com. All right. Now, to get into this week's topic of the week, you talk about an interesting one. Yeah, we're about to get into it. So, I think it's time for me to get a big cup of tea. It's time for the topic of the week. Kingdom Thistle Pipe Band Supplies. For all your pipe band and marching band needs. Supplying everything from uniforms and instruments to custom-designed bass drum heads. They offer it all. Not forgetting their exclusive Kingdom Gilly Brogues and George Boots, crafted by bands for bands. Kingdom Thistle provides expert product advice and an industry-leading drum refurbishment service to keep your equipment in top-class condition. Also, shipping worldwide. So, stop by their store in Fife or visit them online at kingdomthistle.com for all your pipe band and marching needs.
Hi, this is Anna Smart, and you're listening to The Big Rab Show.
Yes, indeed. Time for Topic of the Week. And you might have guessed by the title of this week's episode who we're going to be chatting to. Yeah, David Duncan. And this was one of these random finds that I found one time when just aimlessly scrolling on Instagram as you do. And I follow a serious amount of bagpiping and trad music stuff over there. And I stumbled upon this. An electrified bagpipe stock. And I was absolutely fascinated to find out more. So, it seems to be that this product is just in its infancy and, is currently in development. So, I took the opportunity to actually catch up with the inventor, David, and to hear more about this product. And, when we can expect to see it on our shelves. So, let's welcome David to the pod to find out more. David, how are you?
Doing great, thanks. How are you, Rab?
The best, mate. Yeah, well, if anything, I'm kind of excited to have got caught up with you here because you're working on quite an exciting new product. Now, we'll get into that in a minute or two, what you're at. But first of all, can you want to give a bit of an introduction to yourself and your own background in piping, I guess?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I think like many bagpipers, I started pretty young. I started at age 12. And got involved with the local grade 4 band and worked my way up through the ranks, eventually to grade 2, and then competed at grade 1 with the LA Scots. At one point, with the 78th Phrasers, I was recruited to play up there for a season, but I was the bench warmer. No shame to admit it. Continued to try to play in high grade bands and competed at grade 1 solos, but as far as competitive piping, that's the extent of my career. So.
There you go, but that's still quite a tenure, if you don't mind me saying so. So quite a pedigree there, for sure.
Thank you.
Not only are you quite an awesome bagpiper in your own right, but let's get into the product itself that you've been working on. Tell us about this. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So after my run with competitive pipe bands, I decided to shift focus and be more into performance. I've always been a composer and always, tried to write my own tunes and have my own ensembles to perform with. And in the process, I always wanted to try to push the envelope of what the bagpipes could do. So, at some point I decided I wanted to try to figure out how to make the bagpipes a little more relatable to a modern audience. And the only way that I thought to do so was to try to update the sound a little bit. So, I've always been inspired by guitar music and guitar bands. I've been into punk rock and the likes, for most of my life. And, I thought that maybe one way to reach a wider audience would be to try to make the sound a little more relatable. And in doing so, maybe adding effects and, types of, alterations to just kind of create a more unique type of sound. And so experimented with pickups and eventually developed my own pickup that I could take the bagpipe chanter signal and modify using effects that were made for electric guitar. So
I see. So, and this is how I've stumbled across this. Basically, I was randomly just flicking through Instagram, and then suddenly I seen someone standing in front of what looked like to be like a Marshall stack of speakers, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
was using a wah-wah pedal and all sorts. What the heck is this thing? So, so this basically takes the analog signal from a chanter and throws it into, basically you could plug a guitar into like an effects pedal kind of array kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me, how does it get the signal from the actual reed and chanter into the electrics? How does that work?
Well, I started researching this. It's been since 2010, I think, is when I first did my deep dive into trying to understand how pickups work. And there's two types of pickups. There's what's called a piezo pickup, which is also known as a contact microphone, which is what I use in mine. And there's also magnetic pickups, but magnetic pickups are what are used in electric guitars, and they require a metal string because it's pulling a magnetic current from the sound source. But that doesn't work with the bagpipe chanter reed, because bagpipe chanter reed is cane and copper and hemp all wound together. So the only option for me was to look into the contact microphone, the piezo mic. And a contact microphone works by being close to the sound source, actually in contact with the sound source. Mm-hmm. But when you put a contact mic up against a chanter reed, it affects the tone. So, and I experimented with placement of the piezo until I found that by actually embedding the piezo into the stock rather than putting it up against the reed, I was able to get a pretty reliable sound source, because there's still so much vibration coming from the reed right there in the stock, because I know I've discovered this. I'm not the first to do this. Actually, Uilleann bagpipers have been experimenting with contact microphones on their reeds for years, and it's kind of what inspired me to do this. But through trial and error, I discovered that by putting it into the stock itself was the best way to achieve a direct signal. So.
There you go. That's so clever, though, and I had no idea that Uilleann pipers were doing that. Oh, there you go. They're what do you call it? A trailblazing lot themselves. See the amount of kind of new initiatives that's come through that world. I don't know. It'll only be a matter of time before it's brought through the Highland piping world too. So, yeah,
absolutely
fantastic. So, can I ask then? All right, I'm going to get a little nerdy now. The signal itself, obviously, the mic itself will be listening to the reed and the tone that's coming off it. But do you not get like loads of handling noise, from your actual fingers on the chanter? Does that not like feed up through? Do you know what I mean?
I'm so glad you asked this question, because this is, this has been years in development. I started experimenting in like I said, 2010. I've gone through multiple design iterations, and in the process I've also sent out prototypes, to friends to test for me and to trial and error. And this is one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got from my initial prototypes was, you can hear the sound of the fingers and it's too much, and it's just, I can't use this. And so that was quite a frustration. But in this whole process, I had done so much research into sound and, and how, guitar pedals work and all this stuff, that I discovered, a pretty fairly simple circuit to build. It's called a high pass filter. And so what a high pass filter does is it creates a shelf and blocks out all the frequencies below a certain frequency level. So I just, I know that the fundamental note of the B flat chanter, which I was using, is at 466 hertz. So I just built a little high pass, a high pass filter into the circuit between the pickup and the output. So that filters out all that noise between 466 hertz, which effectively blocked out all the finger noise.
Just removes it. Yeah. If anything, I'm used to using those filters and stuff like that in my own voice. With using stuff for radio work and that. Like they call them de-essers, and they get rid of plosives and stuff like that. So this removes that handling noise. That's fascinating. But that's bound to have took you a lifetime, David, to figure that all out. Yeah.
It's trial and error, and just a lot of fun too, because like you said, kind of get into the nerdy stuff. I'm totally a nerd when it comes to all this, and so it's kind of my passion. So
oh, for sure. Well, I have to say though, you have a few little clips up online of people mucking about with it. You're mucking about with it yourself as well, and seem to be having a lot of fun. Tell us the kind of things that are possible with this now. That you're bringing that analog sound into a digital world. I suppose the possibilities are endless.
It's pretty amazing what you can do with it. I mean, my initial goal was to have a live sound application, because like you said, that Marshall stack. It's like, I think every guitar player, every bagpiper, kind of secretly wishes they were like a rock star, on stage with the
jumping
big,
off the drum riser, giving it all that,
giving those amazing solos, leaning into the wah pedal and just, face melting, the people in the front row. Yeah, so I mean, that was kind of like, the dream, and it's possible with this invention, because you can go into anything that was made for an electric guitar, basically. So the possibilities are pretty limitless. I mean, it's whatever you want to do as a creative, musician. It's now kind of possible with this invention.
Yeah,
so
that digital signal, it's fascinating stuff. I have to say though, with bands that have been playing in the public eye for a long time, the likes of the Chili Pipers, for example, others like Ali the Piper and stuff like that, they all use mics on their chanters, and all of them over their time have spoke about different issues with feedback and stuff like that from monitor systems. I guess this would kind of eliminate that, does it?
Yes, I believe it does. I have, witnessed, yes, a lot of modern musicians are using microphones, and I think it's a great solution. You get a very nice audio sound, but that's true. They pick up a lot of background noise and feedback, and they're also liable to move around during performance. And, I think, I've heard of many issues with them. I'm not a user of microphones myself because, I've been focused on developing this innovation, but yes, I'm aware of the issues involved with microphones.
No, that's it. So I'm really excited about this product because it gets rid of that problem, and that's what kind of attracted me to this. Plus the guy shredding in front of the giant speaker stack. That was just amazing. So, yeah,
that's my friend Eli. Just want to give a shout out to Eli.
Give him a shout.
Wolcott. Yeah.
That was so much fun. And, just when you thought you couldn't take it any further, then he got the wah pedal out, and then there was like a chorus and like what do you call it, like done different octaves and stuff as well. It was mad. So it was, just absolutely melted my head. It was fantastic. So I can't wait to see a lot more music from this. I think the possibilities are endless. It's fantastic. So David, for people who are wanting more information on the product, where would you recommend that they go to check it out?
Well, I've set up an Instagram account for my product, and I think, as things get rolling along with production, I'll be updating more frequently. I've also started a website. That's DuncElectric.com. Also, electricbagpipes.com will take you to the same landing page. So that's where I'll be doing my sales, and I'll also be posting more demo videos there soon. And there's a pretty lengthy FAQ section on the website as it is right now, but there will be more updates in the coming months to that. So
I see. So this is, I have to say, for those of you who are confused about what we're talking about, this is definitely not a digital instrument, but it's like a digital pickup kind of. So you get to play your acoustic instrument here. Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to point out, it's an analog signal. So this is an electroacoustic solution for amplifying the bagpipe chanter signal. Yeah, it's not digital. I've been watching. No, it's no problem. Yeah. When you run it through effects and stuff, you can apply digital effects and do whatever you want. But the sound is pretty pure that comes off the chanter. It's as close to the source as you can get. So there you go. Yeah. So it's not the same as like getting a Blair digital chanter, or the Red Pipe or something like that. But we've seen where you plug it straight into the PA. But this is, you play your acoustic instrument and then plug into other stuff after that. Yeah.
That's right. All those note bends, all those false notes, anything you can do, with the acoustic chanter. Now you can amplify it, and you get a pretty pure audio source for the signal as a basis for whatever you want to do. So
there you go. Yeah. Do you know, if anything, I might put in a little clip at this point. There was one video that really grabbed my attention. It was you were doing a slide from low G, and it took forever, but it was so good as well. It was like so slow and Oh man, I'm just a huge fan of this product. So yeah, for more information, you can go and check out the links in the show notes, and like David said, check out his websites and stuff. So yeah, once this finally does hit the shelves, then do let us know, and we'll certainly let our listeners know where they can go and get their own. Yeah. So yeah,
absolutely.
David, thank you so much for joining us, and every success with this product for sure. Keep us across it, and yeah, we'd like to see how this music develops now as a result of this exciting new venture. Yeah.
Me too, Rab. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and what you were just listening to was a bit of a demo of what this can actually do. Now, granted, I thought it was a digital signal and digital and all of that, but so I'm very grateful for David for explaining that to me, that it isn't. Yeah, it's analog, and then it's digitized in a way. It's picked up and put through electronics. Honestly, a fascinating product, you know, and I do think that this could absolutely revolutionize live bagpiping. You know, with pipers playing in front of so many different, you know, ensembles now, this does make a lot of other possibilities a reality. So, yeah, I'm very excited about this. So, yeah, as you can hear there, it takes bagpipes in a completely different direction. Now, I know there's going to be the purists out there that'll go, bagpipes should never sound like that. You're butchering the sound. But there will be those of us out there, myself included, who are kind of excited about the possibilities. Yeah. So, if you are anyways curious, we have included those links in the show notes and stuff. So, yeah, this will be an exciting venture that, I do think will take this music in a totally new direction. Interesting stuff there. So, I have to say a big thank you to David Duncan for joining us here on the show this week. And yes, we will keep across the development of this. And, yeah, we'll let you folks know where you can go and grab it. There you are. All right, folks, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Unfortunately, yeah, we'll wrap it up here at this point. So, yes, thank you to each and every one of you for downloading each and every week. And don't forget to tell your mates about our wee show. We have noticed a bit of a jump in numbers recently, which is brilliant to see. So, hi, hello to everyone who's new, and yeah, those who are yet to still discover us, I guess. There you are. So, yeah, we'll be back again next week with another amazing topic of the week to bring you, of course. And, yeah, just again, be sure to be supporting us on Patreon if you haven't already. There's tons of extras back there, and definitely worthy of your click of support. All right, that's me. I am out the door. Thank you all for downloading this week, and I will see you all in the next one. All the best. Well, that's it for another Big Rab Show podcast. Thanks so much for downloading this week, and a special thank you to our sponsor, G1 Reeds. Played by bands around the world, they are the champion's choice. Check out g1reeds.com for all of your piping needs. Don't forget to check out thebigrabshow.com to be kept up to date with all of the latest news and views from around the piping world. And also, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get your hands on tons of extra piping goodness and be a part of the Patreon faithful. So, until next week, folks, we'll see you right here on the Big Rab Show podcast. All the best.
Exhibit C, the belt he's flossing is killing.
10 ought to do it, don't you think? You think we need one more? You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
Ah, yes, we're back with another episode of Big Rab Show Plus. It's been a wee while since we've done one of these. More than a wee while, yeah, but there's been a good reason for that. And we'll chat about that in a minute or two. But if you are listening to my voice right now, you are supporting us on Patreon, and you are immediately awesome. Yes, figured I had to give you a big shout. So yeah, thank you for supporting us here on the Big Rab Show team. Honestly, does mean the world to us, especially now that we are in the mouth of the season. Yeah, I don't like that descriptor, but yeah, we're very close to the start of the competitive season here in the UK, and things are about to hot up pretty quickly. And yeah, we're going to chat all about that, of course. Now,